Skywing here, and welcome back to another Speed Paint! Today, we're going to be talking about my life as an asexual person. Since it's Pride Month as I'm recording this, I felt like I should talk about my asexuality and what it means to me, because I only recently found out that I'm like 1% of the population, which is really weird to think about, but I thought I'd talk about my experience and how I found out I was an asexual person so you guys can get a better understanding of it, and I might be able to help one of you guys out. I don't know, but I can only hope for the best. But if I do help one of you guys, I'd love to give you a hug, because hugs for days? Okay, let's get into the story. When I was growing up, I never really had friends, and that never really bothered me. Why? Because me and my family were homeschooled and living in the middle of the country. Literally. We were in the middle of nowhere. It'd be like 15 minutes by car to the closest town. But I never felt lonely or whatever as a kid because I always had my family. I guarantee that 99% of everything I knew was from my family. When I was around 8-ish, I don't exactly remember the age, we started going to a camp for socialization once every year. My childhood was weird and everywhere because I was a crazy child. But that will be its own video. So then we decided that we would move closer to the camp area so we could begin seeing the people at the camp more and more as this like socialization and being friends. Because friendship is magic! And some of us are still friends to this day. Not super close, but we're friends. Through this whole time of socializing or whatever, I never had a legitimate crush. I would occasionally get a weird feeling for a few people, but that wouldn't last more than a couple hours, at the longest a couple of days. And even then, it wasn't anywhere near a crush level. More like I appreciate them for being a sort of friend that's nice to me, so I'm gonna get awkward kind of thing. I don't know. As I said before, I was weird as all hell. Still am. Let's fast forward a little bit. During my teenager years, I was so confused. I went through a time where I was questioning literally everything about myself, such as my biological family, my gender, my sexuality, all of that. I had problems looking into a mirror and not seeing who I was, but instead seeing someone, which was not me. I've talked about this on my amino page before, about a year ago, I think. That was such a long time ago. I'll probably make that into its own video at some point. You never know. I was just trying to figure out who and what I was. All in the meanwhile, I was doing normal things like watching shows or reading books. But in hindsight, I noticed something weird about myself. Whenever things like romance would pop up in stories or in movies or in anime, because I'm a weeb, I would get really annoyed because I felt like the romance side of things was not progressing the story in any way. I felt like it was just something to be like, oh, this is so sexy. Oh, this is romance. It just felt out of place to me. Like, most romance just feels like really weird and awkward and out of place, and we're just like, that's not how romance works. Is this how romance works? What is life? The idea of sex and all that jazz was freaking dumb in my mind. Now as I'm older, I don't mind the idea of kissing and all of that, but it still annoys me when I'm watching it on the TV or reading about it and then it just pops up out of nowhere like, oh, I'm gonna kiss you. Oh, we're gonna do all the good things because this is sexy and this is gonna be story. Just eat pizza and talk about your feelings. It'd be so much better than just this bullshit. As I was going through all of this, I became furry. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below because it's sort of kind of relevant to the story. Around this time, I was watching YouTubers like Majira Strawberry, and I was watching videos that were really depressing videos, I'm not gonna lie. I was in a rut when it came to my feelings. I was just, like, I would binge watch Vents because of how much in a rut my mind was at the time. I was just being really freaking stupid. Why? Why would you watch this knowing that it would make you feel worse? The pressure was building inside my head and was just overwhelming. I didn't know what to do, where to go. I was just really lost at this time, as most teenagers are around this time, because puberty is fun! Then I came across a channel by the name of Heyodamo, who also has another channel by the name of Blue the Dragon. I decided to watch a video of his, more specifically his How Depression Feels video. So I watched it and I was like, oh my god, that's so me. I'm going through that. Yeah, I know, teenagehood, am I right? So I started watching his content and I was really amused by what he did and all of that. And then I found his videos about where he talks about being asexual and all his informational videos about what asexuality is and all of that. And something just clicked inside my head. I realized that I was asexual. Everything that he discussed, everything that he described, it was me. That was who I was. Everything just made sense when he was explaining it. It's just everything just kind of clicked. I didn't have to like a boy or a girl. I could just be myself. I wasn't interested in dating either, and I'm still not. So why should I feel pressured into doing something that I know I wouldn't be happy with? No one was pressuring me, but I was pressuring myself because I was being so stupid. After I watched those videos, I was laughing and crying because I finally found some sort of truth inside myself. Something that made me different and happy. Something that was so pure and so true about myself. Something that I never really knew before. I was asexual. I am asexual. And no one could take this away from me. People might be wondering, how did I come out to my family and all that? And it's not exactly something that I had to sit down and talk to them about because we're not that kind of family. Instead, if they were going to be like, oh, don't you want to have a husband one day? Live your future with someone else? I'd just be like, no. That sounds like an awful idea. My partner would be in hell because I ain't ready. Maybe one day I'd like to be in a strictly romantic relationship with someone. But that's a future I really can't see myself in at the moment. Not with the way I am. That's for certain. I have had experiences with silly little crushes that I've had, strictly romantic crushes, but that's for an entirely new story. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to check out my social medias in the description bar below, and I will see you in the next meme when I finally get it done. Bye-bye!